Hi guys, welcome back. I've got good news. I have finally finished the first year of my masters. Yay! Clap hands, clap hands. Thank you. So I'm recording this ahead of time, so when this recording comes out, I would have officially finished university 3 days ago, but I'm recording a few weeks before that. I did finish university, like in terms of contact hours, learning hours. I finished in May, so I am definitely done with uni, no assignments or anything like that. At the moment, just sorting out placement, preparing for second year, that kind of stuff. So this is a review of my first year of doing my integrative counselling and psychotherapy MA. It's been good, it's been expensive, it's been fun, it's been tiring, it's been emotional, it's been a lot of stuff. But I've enjoyed it thoroughly and I'm really looking forward to the second year because we're going to be doing placement. So I'm just going to run through like what first year involves, the assignments I did, what I liked, what I didn't like, etc, so you guys can kind of hopefully have an idea of what you can expect from your masters or your degree and stuff like that if you guys choose to go ahead and do that. So I did release a vlog a few months ago showing you guys what a whole day of university looks like as best as I could. I'll probably do a better one next year, and I will hopefully also do a vlog of like what my placement day looks like as well. As you guys know from that vlog, I was in university 1 day a week, Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So my day went like this. We had a lecture from 10 a.m. to 11:30, which was the whole year grouped together, and then we'd have a 30-minute break from 11:30 till 12, and then from 12 till 1 we'd have a reading seminar, which was a seminar which would be discussing the reading that we'd been given for the week, and that reading would be chosen by the person who had delivered the lecture before so that they will obviously be related. We discussed that for an hour in our smaller groups, so the year would be split into 4 different groups and those 4 different groups would go off and discuss the seminar paper together. This was then followed by a 1 hour break for lunchtime from 1 till 2, and then from 2 till 3:30 we'd have our exercise groups, which was known as the, what was it called again? I forgot what it was called. It was something like psychological intervention or something like that. We'd stay in a small groups, but it was a different small group of people, so you'd get shuffled again, but it was still a small group of people, about 12 people I think, or 16 max. In those groups we would do either dyads or triads, where we basically take the role of a counsellor, observer, client, and we would present our issues as if we're in a counselling session, and then we'd get feedback on how well we've done or haven't done. And sometimes we'd also have big discussions as a group, so it'd be like 20 minutes each or 10 minutes each. We had at least 40 minutes where everyone takes the role of a client, counsellor or observer, and you get feedback. So we needed at least 40 minutes to an hour to do that. And then we would have a quick 30-minute break from 3:30 till 4, and then from 4 till 5 we'd have like a group therapy session essentially at the end of the day with the same group of people from the previous session, and then we would discuss anything and everything relating to do with the course, anything we wanted to hash out, discuss. Kind of got out of control because sometimes people would bring in personal issues. We were told that this is not your personal therapy, so you can't really bring things that are too personal and expect people to kind of just like be your counsellors, because no one here is a registered counsellor, like it's not necessary. So what we would do is that we would kind of talk about maybe the stuff within the group dynamics. At one point my group ended up having quite a bit of a clash, a bit of drama, but eventually got all hashed out. So next year I'm going to be moving with a different group. I'm going to miss my group. So that was just an amazing year of meeting amazing people. So that was like what my whole day was like. Excuse me. You know it's free to press the subscribe button. It's also free to press the like button. Back to the video. So in terms of assignments, we had about, I think we had like 5 assignments throughout the whole year, of which I think we had like 3 academic ones and 1 reflective essay, and then we had a video assignment. I'm going to read out the titles of the ones that we had. A reflective exploration of my professional practice development. So that one was just a personal reflection on how well you think you've done and what you've progressed and the things that you've learned from your triads and your dyads and your practice in the group sessions and so on and so forth. So that one was pretty easy. It wasn't really so much academic. The other 3 were academic. So there was, I'm going to be reading from the screen, that's why I'm not looking at the camera. So there was critically evaluate a person-centered approach to facilitating change in counselling and psychotherapy. That was a decent one. And then we had demonstrate your understanding of the humanistic view of the person. How has this understanding been changed or enhanced by the literature on social, contextual and neurological influences on development? Whew, a mouthful. I know everyone in the year hated that question, and a lot of people I think failed that one because it was so difficult to just like get your head around. I just about passed that one, so I'm glad. And then we had to do a 15-minute video session, like a counselling session, 15-minute video submission, and then out of those 15 minutes we had to pick the best 10 minutes and do a transcription of those 10 minutes and then analyze what we said and why we said it in relation to like counselling practice and theory and stuff like that. And then you had to write like a 1,000-word essay summarizing everything that you did and why and so on and so forth. So that one was pretty simple. So those are the assignments that we had for the duration of the year. And then of course we had to do 35 hours of personal therapy anytime from September to July. It's due July 27th, which was 3 days ago. You basically get your therapist to sign that you've done your 35 hours or how many hours you've done. If you haven't done those hours, then obviously you need to make up for it. You'll get another deadline where you have to submit those hours that you haven't done. You have to also sign a piece of paper saying that you've taken part in journaling and doing a personal journal throughout the whole academic year. I did one on Wednesdays after I came back from uni. It's like one of the first things I did. So that's what the assignments look like for me. Most universities are probably going to be roughly about the same. I'll do a review video of my second year next year so you guys can see the difference. So the pros and cons of my first year of university. I'll start with the cons so we can end on a positive note. I'd say the cons for me was having a paper to read every week was just exhausting because some papers were like really terribly worded, like old English, and you're just thinking like you have to Google like every other word that you read because it doesn't make any sense. And it was just really exhausting in that sense. Sometimes I'd forget that I've got a paper to read and I'll read it the night before, and when I open it it's 40 pages worth of reading. I'm not able to read, so I end up falling asleep trying to read 40 pages of like just scientific gibberish. Like I just couldn't. So that's the only thing, is like you have to really plan your reading and read in advance. And sometimes we didn't even get the paper on the system until like a few days before, 2 days before, or the night before. So it was really hard sometimes to get your reading done on time. But of course you skim read, or you when you get to the seminar you can still pick up on what the paper's about based on the discussion in your group. So that's probably the only downside, especially if you're working and you're busy, you got a family, which a lot of people in my course do. So it was quite difficult sometimes to always keep up with the reading. Of course, expenses for me was definitely difficult to pay for my personal therapy and paying for my course by myself, because student finance is definitely not enough for me. So I have to like top up my tuition and pay my rent by myself. So on top of that, it's like really hard to maintain expenses. Obviously if you save up in advance or you've got a really well-paying job on the side, then you can definitely get through. And you know, paying for counselling in London is expensive, so it's like £50 a session, £60 per session. So yeah, it was quite expensive. Another con I'd say probably is just like the really long day from like 10 till 5. Like it's great that it's one day, but then it's like a whole day. Like by the time you get home you're also very emotionally exhausted. So it's a very long day. You're physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, you're just exhausted. The day really takes it out of you. So that's another con as well, is that the course in general is very emotionally draining. You're going to be expected to put a lot of yourself out there. In the triads and the dyads, we came and talked about our personal issues. Like I was talking about things that were affecting me, my friendships, my physical health, you know, money, being away from family. Like I was talking about things that were really troubling me, things that I was actually going through. And every now and then people cried. I cried in some of the sessions, because you know, you're coming and you're sharing your real experiences, you're crying about your relationships, you know, you're crying about everything that's going on in your life. You know, people spoke about deaths and, you know, problems with their spouses, problems with their families and their children. So it's like you really bring a lot, and by the end of it you're emotionally exhausted. So it was definitely a lot. By the end of it, sometimes you come home and you're just drained emotionally. You're feeling down, you're feeling sad, or you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed from having to hear other people's struggles. So it takes an emotional toll on you. So on to the pros. So obviously I think a really nice pro is that it's one day a week that you're going in, especially if you live far from uni, you're not living on campus or near the university campus. Then it's great that you can just go in once a week. It's one commute and you're done, and you don't have to worry about it like every other day. And it's obviously worth the travel. If you're traveling far, it's worth the travel because you're getting everything done in one day as well. So that's also a pro. And so that allowed me to be able to work the other days of the week, which was really helpful for me. Another pro is just meeting amazing people. The people that I got to meet on my course, the people in like my trial session and the group session, those people are the same group of people. Absolutely love meeting them. They're amazing people, and I hope to stay in contact with all of them because it was just a lovely bond. You know, you meet people from all walks of life, people that you would have never said hi to on a normal day, but that I never would have had the chance to be friends with because of our age group. But now I'm like able to speak to them, and you know, it's just really nice as well. Another pro is that there's no exams. just assignments, and I feel like the assignments were spaced out quite nicely, so I wasn't worried, I wasn't too stressed, I wasn't overwhelmed with like assignment after assignment after assignment. I feel like they were really well spaced out, and the lecturers gave us a lot of advice on what to do for the assignments as well, because we had so much time, so they would literally give lectures on what to do for the assignment, so it was really helpful. Another pro is that we have to do personal therapy. I think it's really helpful because it's there for a reason, but it's also helpful in the sense that you get to deal with your crap, so it doesn't kind of affect you when you start working. You also know what it's like to be a client, and then you can be a bit more understanding when you now have clients in the future. I think having an emotional release in my personal therapy has helped me to cope a lot better than I would have if I didn't have personal therapy and all I had to rely on was just my friends and my family to complain and vent. I wouldn't have even grown, I would have just been venting. So it's been a very helpful experience, and I'm grateful that we have to do personal therapy even though it's bloody expensive, but it's very useful nonetheless. So overall, I would probably rate my first year 7 out of 10, mainly because it was just bloody expensive for what we did, because we had a few strikes in the year as well, so it's not like we got our full everything. But overall, it was an amazing year because of the people, because of the things we learned, and just the experience in general. Is not like any other course, it's not like any other masters, it's not like any other degree I've ever done. It's very unique in that the way you do it is all about you. You bring yourself as a person, you are the tool to get your degree. It's all about you as a person, how much you're willing to grow and develop and learn. So I thoroughly enjoyed first year. Even though I cried a lot, I had a lot of support around me, so thank you to all my friends and family that helped me get through this first year. It's been difficult and it's still difficult. But I'm looking forward to next year. Right now we're preparing for placement, as I said earlier. We're sorting out our placements to start in September. I'll keep you guys updated next year on how next year is going and so on and so forth. And I hope you really enjoyed this review. And if you guys are also studying, let me know how your first year went. And if you have any questions about what to expect or any fears and, you know, stuff like that, let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! So could you kindly press the like and subscribe button, please? Thank you. Bye. Back to the video. Having like a read. So in no particular order, because I can't fully remember the order we did them in. So one of the essays was titled "A Reflective Exploration of Our Professional." Pardon me. How many? We had like 1, 2, 3, 4, and